Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the first of several workshops that are being delivered, that I'm delivering, and I'll be delivering some with partners and guest teachers and trainers. This is the first one I'll be delivering for everybody who has access to or owns my digital marketing masterclass course or the Power of Publishing course, which are two different separate courses in our course portal. Most of you, I think, came from the digital marketing masterclass. Hopefully some of you have at least looked at that a little bit and seen some of the videos in there. It's okay if you haven't. You can go back anytime and look through that. And then maybe some of you have Bill Gladstone's Power of Publishing course. Both of those groups were invited here today for this training. And this is specifically about online courses, and you as authors of, potentially as authors of online courses. Now, some of you may have already created an online course. Some of you may be thinking you want to create an online course. So what I'm going to cover today will be hopefully very useful to both groups, whether you've created one already or not. And as I mentioned a moment ago, I'm going to cover three primary aspects of course authoring. That's creating the course is one, and then hosting the course, which is the tech side. How do you get the course up? There are three options for that. I'll go through those and the pros and cons of each, and then marketing the course. So, and then I have kind of a interesting announcement I'm going to make as well about our own course portal and the courses that you have in there and you as an author. So without further ado, I'm going to go through some slides. I'm going to screen share and go through some slides, and then there'll be time for Q&A. You can also type your questions in the chat as we go along, and I'll look at those afterward. My partner, VP, person who runs the course portal, Oriel, is here, and she may chime in a little bit toward the end. So thank you. Some of you may have communicated with her. So without further ado, I'm going to screen share. Let me get my screen ready. All right. And yes, screen share. I think it's this screen. All right, you can see my screen. Thumbs up. Okay, thank you. All right, I'm going to start off with a couple of quick concepts and then get into those three aspects of course creation and hosting. And so first, I want to talk about, okay, this isn't working. Why aren't my commands working? Ah, there. What is it that you do? A lot of people have or could use a little clarity on where to get started. What is it I'm offering? What do I do as a coach, author, expert in my industry, teacher, trainer, consultant, right? Probably at least one of those words applies to you. Author, consultant, teacher, trainer, coach. And you want to build a course, right? And because course building, I've said this, many people say this, you're going to make more money on your course than you do on your books, and potentially more than you do on your consulting and coaching as well. Your course offerings can often be the most lucrative part of your business ecosystem. But let's start with what it is you do. And you may do more than one of these things. You're teaching, you're motivating. A lot of courses are motivating people. Maybe they're doing both. They're teaching and motivating. Just reflect on your own content about what it is you're actually doing to the audience. Are you motivating them to do something? Are you teaching, training them? Are you doing both? Are you providing accountability in some way? That's another really big benefit that courses and teachers and trainers offer. Are you helping with mindset and beliefs? That's a very common one. Are you helping dissect or, change mindset and belief. That probably goes together with teaching really easily. Are you providing performance feedback and best practices for your students? That's probably a good description of what a traditional coach does. They provide performance feedback on the performance of the person. If you think about athletic coaches, the athlete performs their athletic feat, and then the coach provides feedback on that and how to better the practice. If you do it this way, it'll be better. That's a benefit that you might be offering to your students. Planning and strategy. Maybe you're helping them do planning and strategy. That's what I do. Okay, that one applies to me. When I do trainings and teachings, I'm often helping people with their strategies. I'm giving them strategic options, right? It kind of goes together with teaching. I'm also teaching, but more importantly, I'm helping them with strategy. So maybe you're doing that. So these are some interesting things to think about. Oh, there's one more. Maybe you're giving people peace of mind. Maybe you're helping them calm, relax, be confident, and offering sort of peace of mind. These are all really great benefits that you could offer to your students through your course, but also through your everything, coaching, training, consulting. Which of these things do you do primarily? And don't say all of them. I know that's always tempting to say, I do all those things, but pick the top 2 or 3 that you know that are the most important to you. It's important to identify that. Next, before we get into it, I'm going to talk about your plan. What is your plan for course building? Why are you thinking of building a course? What is your goal? So for some people, it's money. This is where they want to make their money. Okay, they wrote a book. The book's not really making a lot of money, but that's okay because we want people to get to the course. That's where the money is going to come from. That's okay. That's what courses often do. Is that's where the money comes from. That may not be your goal, though. Your goal may be to reach more people, or to start a movement, or to give yourself more credibility or prestige. There are lots of different goals as to why you might want to be creating a course. And of course, most people will say, well, I want to do all those things. I want the prestige. I want to sell and make the money. And I also want to start a movement and reach lots of people. Well, great, of course. Which one is the most important? Which one is the primary? If you couldn't do all of them and you only could do one, which one would it be? The next thing you want to think about in your plan, is who is your ideal customer, your ideal student. A lot of people call that your avatar. Who is the avatar that's going to be taking the course? And you want to get into that person's mindset. You want to be thinking how they think. What are the problems they're facing? What are the issues they are dealing with that your course deals with? What are the questions they have in their minds? And as you deliver content, you want to think about, at every step of the content, what's the question they're thinking about at this point? Because I want to then answer that question in the next point of the content. So this really goes toward the structure of your course. The structure of your course should be answering questions along the way and anticipating what their issues are all along the way. That's the avatar, or the ideal customer. And then you want to be thinking about, in your plan, you want to know what your unique value is. And I'm going to talk a little more about that, but I'm not going to go all the way through it because it's in my course pretty well handled. There's 2 videos in my course on unique value proposition. And I've done other presentations that are just about unique value proposition, and I can make those available for you in recordings if you want to see those. But I will cover it just briefly because it is so important. You need to know your unique value proposition for your course, and ultimately your unique value proposition for your profession, for your expertise. If you're a coach or a trainer or an author, it's the same unique value proposition that you have for your course. It's the same all the way across your entire ecosystem. Okay, And then you're going to plan your messaging, which is how then do you speak about it. That includes your titles and subtitles, the bullet points you put on your pages, all of that, right? All the messaging around the unique value. And your messaging is going to be repeating your unique value proposition to the avatar, in the right language that the avatar is ready to hear. Not the way you want to say it, the way they want to hear it. Really important. This one is important enough to write down. Your messaging should be in the language that your ideal customer needs to hear it in, not in the way you want them to hear it in. So talk to them where they are in your messaging. It may not be the way you want to say it exactly, but you know that they're not quite ready to hear it the way you want to say it. So say it to the way they're ready. Okay. And then you want to build your ecosystem. And I'm not going to go deeply into this either, but I've talked about it in other places. Your ecosystem is everything that you do in and around this expertise that you have. So that's your free offers, that's your webinars that you do, that's your speaking that you do, that's your products and services, your coaching, your training, and your courses. If you have merch, then it's your merchandise as well. Everything and anything in and around your topic and your unique value proposition is your ecosystem. And it's really, I really emphasize thinking about it as an ecosystem, because you start to think of it as everything is interrelated with everything else, like an ecosystem. Everything kind of depends on everything else in some way and feeds everything else in some way. And that's a very healthy, advanced way of thinking about your expertise. And then you're going to have a funnel or maybe multiple funnels. This is part of your plan. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this today. And all of this drives people and builds your long-term customer value, LTCV there. Your long-term customer value. You don't want to just, hit and quit. You want people who stick around and buy from you multiple times. You want long-term customer value. You're a coach, consultant, author, right? So you want people to stick around, buy from you repeatedly. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about is developing your course. This is the course content, okay? And I'm going to go into some of the things that are sort of current best practices, okay? So the first thing I want to talk about is your unique value proposition. Again, like I mentioned a minute ago, I'm not going to go deep into this, but I am going to mention it very quickly. Unique value proposition is where it all starts, okay? Your course should be delivering and repeating your unique value proposition, and emphasis on the word unique, okay? I see a lot of courses, I see a lot of authors, and I see a lot of coaches, and I can tell you in the personal and professional development fields, what's really common, right? Coaching, career development, career advancement for young career-minded professionals. I see that a lot. That's not unique right there. The way I just described it is not unique, right? So emphasis on unique and what makes you different than others. It affects your coaching niche. It affects your book or course. It affects your products and everything. So this slideshow is taking off without me. All right. Your course, you want to make a promise. So right after your unique value proposition is a promise that you're making. My unique value proposition as a marketing professional is I emphasize that marketing is not one size fits all. I emphasize that it's custom to you, unique to you, and that you have to know and experiment and gain the knowledge of your unique marketing sphere of solutions. That's one of my unique value propositions. And my promise when I do marketing is I'm going to customize for you. You're going to get a custom solution. You're not going to get a cookie cutter marketing solution. So that's just a quick example of what I mean here by the unique value proposition, and then the promise that you make for that. So your course is delivering that promise. Okay. So if I have a course, I'm delivering customized solutions. And in my course, you can tell me if I do that. Hopefully I do. I think most of you have access to my course on marketing in the course portal. You want to speak to emotions when you make the promise. So when I speak about my unique value proposition and I make the promise that this is going to not be cookie cutter, I speak to emotions like, are you tired of wasting money on marketing and having nothing move the needle? Are you tired of doing things like advertising and you don't end up selling anything? Have you had that experience? A lot of people have, and it's painful. And so I'm speaking to a painful emotion. You want to do that, okay? Definitely want to do that in the course, and you want to do that in the promise you're making about the course. And the promise you're making about the course might be in the title of the course, or it might be in the words you use after the title of the course. If you can put it in the title, that's great. If you can't, then it can go into the subtitle or the bullet points below the subtitle. But it should be right up there somewhere in the early part of your course content, your course messaging. Touch the pain points. I talked about that. I hate to say this, but using the negative works better than using the positive. I know we don't all like to believe that or want to agree with that. But brain science proves and marketing proves that people are more connected to the fear of the negative than the desire of the positive. So I actually encourage people to use both. Don't just talk about avoiding the negative. That would start to sound a little overwhelmingly negative. So throw in some positive too, or maybe you want to be mostly positive, but throw in a couple negatives. But like I gave you the example just a minute ago, I talk about, have you had a bad experience with marketing? Have you tried, Facebook ads and nothing happened and you spent a couple $1,000s? Nobody likes that. That's a negative, right? I'm going to tell you how to avoid that. Okay. So avoiding the negative is usually more powerful. I'd say throw in a little of both. Avoid what? In other words, don't talk about what you do. This is one of the most common mistakes I see in course developers and authors is they can't stop talking about what's in their course. They can't stop talking about what they start to describe. Oh, you had a course. Yeah, it's about that. And they start describing the course. That's not useful, not for marketing. What you want to, and don't describe how you do what you do. What you want to describe is why. Why should you take my course? That's all you need to describe. And by the way, this is on your pages, however you bring people into your course. Why should you take my course? Well, that gets right back to the promise, right? Why should you take my course? Because you will get this promise. I promise you, you will learn this, or you will achieve this. If you take my course, you will, if you complete the course from A to Z, you will, ... Okay, that's the promise. And that's the why. So focusing on that. Avoid platitudes and abstract words like consciousness and, I don't know, happiness is a little bit abstract, maybe not quite as much, but a lot of people use abstractions in their course materials in describing their course and the promise they make. Try not to use abstract words in the promise you make. Try to make it very, very distinct, very measurable. You're not just going to feel more consciousness. What does that even mean, really? When it comes down to it, everybody might have a slightly different definition of what that means. You will feel more confident during the day. That's a little bit more measurable. I'm just making this up as I go, just to give you the idea of what I'm referring to here. You want to describe, if you have any problem with this and you can't figure out what the concrete words are, the measurable words are to describe what you're doing. Maybe what you're doing is somewhat abstract. Maybe you are just kind of making people more conscious. I use that as an example because it is quite abstract. Then start to describe, challenge yourself to describe the qualities of that. What are the qualities of higher consciousness? Oh, well, the qualities are you feel lighter. Okay, great. You feel less stress. Great. You feel more inner peace and calm. Okay, those are more measurable words. So you want to find the measurable words, not the abstract words. This is about your title and your UVP. So I'm going to go through this really quick because what I just talked about actually was part of this as well. So your title is projecting your unique value proposition. So don't be abstract and so on. You want to wake them up with it if you can. So shock value. I go through all these in my course, and which you mostly have access to. So this is all covered in great detail in my videos in my course. So I'm going to just breeze quickly through this. Wake them up, ask a provocative question, give a surprising fact. 9 out of 10 people will blah, blah, blah. Bust a myth. You thought that, you're thinking that the brain still has a left brain and a right brain. Guess what? That's been busted. The new brain sciences proves otherwise. Okay, if you didn't know that fact, people are going to be like, well, that's interesting. Really? I always thought it was a left brain, right brain thing. People still think that, right? People don't necessarily know the new brain science. So you're kind of busting a myth there. Tell a story, create curiosity and interest. That's the main thing. You want to create curiosity about what you're doing for your course. Okay. So what's in a course? This is okay. So now we're getting to the meat of developing your course. This is where I really wanted to focus. You have 3 things at your disposal to use: videos, audios, and text. Actually, there is a 4th thing I'm going to talk about in a minute, and that's you live talking. Okay, so videos, audios, text first, and I'll talk about you live talking in, next. So how many videos, how many audios, how much text? Generally, most courses today are mostly video. So you're going to need to be comfortable sitting in front of a camera or standing in front of the camera, delivering content as if you're standing in front of a classroom, right? It's no different, except that you're recording it. Now, audios are generally not used anymore unless you're using them to give like meditations or guided visualizations or things that you really don't want them to be watching. You want them to maybe even close their eyes and listen to this, whatever, 10-minute audio or whatever. So it's usually for meditations and visualizations. It might be some other things too, but usually courses today are not primarily audio. They're primarily video. Even if it's just you sitting there talking. Like, well, why do I need to have video when it's just me standing there talking? Well, that's the state of the art right now in course development. And I'm even gonna go farther and say, if you can, and we recommend this for our own courses, don't sit in front of a camera like this, like I'm doing here with Zoom. This is more of a group training model. When you do your course videos and it's just you, stand up in front of the camera like you're in front of a classroom, and you're gonna capture yourself like from the waist up. You're gonna capture more of your body than sitting down in a Zoom meeting, and it's gonna look more professional. I guarantee you, it's got way more professionalism to it. Just doing that alone. You can use your smartphone. You don't need a top-notch camera to do this. Most smartphones are more than capable of doing this. The only thing you want to be careful about is the audio. So you want to make sure that the phone is picking up your voice well, and that you have a nice quiet room and there's nothing interfering with the microphone on your camera. If you can't get a good microphone, if you can't get a good sound with your smartphone standing up in front of it, then you can buy a microphone for your phone. You have to make sure you're getting the right kind, but you can get a lapel mic that then connects to your phone, and then you'll not have a problem at all. You'll see in my course, the digital marketing course, when you go there, you'll see that some of the videos, the sound isn't as good as some of the others. That's because I just got better at it, and I also made a couple mistakes. There was one mistake I made where I put the phone into a tripod to record me standing up, and a little piece of the tripod was actually in front of the microphone, and I didn't realize it. And I learned that lesson. I'll never do that again. So test it, practice. Video is the state of the art. Throw in some audios if you can, and then the only other thing you have at your disposal is text. And of course, courses can use as much text as you want, but the videos are what most people follow. So the text usually is supporting the videos. So most courses, the text pieces are downloadable worksheets, things like that, checklists, worksheets, things that support what you've taught in the videos. How many hours should your course be? I've seen courses from 2 hours to 22 hours, but as far as best practices, I would say your course should be somewhere between 4 and 12 hours. If your course is more than 12 hours, think about whether you could break it up into 2 courses or 3 courses instead of one big long course. If you can, do it. If it's just impossible, like, no, I can't break it up because it has to all go together, okay, it can be longer. I just encourage you to do lots of short videos rather than a few long videos. So try not to make your videos more than 30 minutes long. A lot of people have multi-hour videos, or even 1 hour. They do 1 hour videos, and all their course videos are 1 hour long. Don't do that if you can. It's better to do 2 half-hour videos than one hour video. It's just the way people think today. This is just state of the art today. People have shorter attention spans. They're not sitting in a classroom where they have to listen to you for an hour. So after 20 minutes, they're already fidgeting and they want to go get something to eat and a snack. So plan your course to that. Do videos. You'll see in my course, my videos, I don't think there's a single video more than a half hour long. And a lot of them are 15 minutes, right? But I have like 25 videos. So it's a lot of videos, but they're short. So that's a better way to go than a few longer ones. Before I go to the certifications, how many hours also informs how much you charge for your course. It's not the only thing that informs what you charge, but it is one of the main things. There is a sort of state of the art out there. People have a sense of, well, if it's 6 hours of course material, you can't charge me $1,000 for that. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Like, there aren't that many courses out there that are only 6 hours for $1,000. I mean, if it is 6 hours for $1,000, there better be something else about it that's very valuable, like a certification or continuing education credits or continuing medical education credits, which is even harder to get. Okay, in that course, it might be worth $1,000 for only 6 hours. But if you can't deliver those other elements, a 6 hour course should be more like $149. Okay, in that ballpark, give or take. I've seen them for $97. I've seen them for $297, but that's the range, right? That's the ballpark, for 6 to 8 hours of course. If you have a 12-hour course, okay, well, now maybe you can charge $297. Okay. Now, these are not exact figures. These are just ballparks to give you the idea. There are other things that influence the price, but I wanted to give you sort of a best practices ballpark. All right. Certifications and affiliations. If you can do it, That's great. Sometimes you can offer a VIP version of the same course where the normal version doesn't have a certification and it's cheaper, but the VIP version gives you the certification and it's a little more expensive. That's a very common way to do it, and it's perfectly good. So the people that really value the certification, they'll pay that extra. Live options. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about live. So that's the fourth thing. You've got videos, audios, text, and then you speaking live. Those are your four elements in any course. And you speaking live, there are several options. First of all, should you even have live options in your course? Aren't courses supposed to be recorded? No, courses can be live. Courses can be a little bit live or entirely 100% live. Some people only give live courses in weekly live sessions, right? Like this session I'm having with you right now, I'm not calling this a course, but I'm going to be giving 2 or 3 more sessions on other aspects of marketing and digital marketing. And I could call that a course, but it's actually my intention for these live sessions is to support my recorded course. So it's partially live, right? I'm actually only giving these live sessions to people who already have the course. So that's another option, is it can be a mixture of live and recorded. So let me go through some of the options. You can do a group page, and each of these is going to be a little more complicated than the next. So the easiest is to do a group page that's like a Facebook group where people just go there whenever they want and they type in, and then you just respond when on your time, when you have time, right? And it's not exactly live because you're not responding in the moment necessarily, but it is live in the sense that you're responding, you yourself are responding to their questions, relatively soon. So a sort of a Facebook group type page is probably the easiest way to offer a live component. One-on-one sessions. So you buy the course and you get a one-on-one session, or 2 or 3 one-on-one sessions, or 5 or 6 one-on-one sessions along with your course. And you can schedule those, right? That's a very common way to do live. So you could have the entire course be a video, but you offer 3 live one-on-one sessions. And then you've got the live component, right? That's common. You can also do 100% live course and also offer live one-on-ones. So the 100% live course is to a group, like I'm doing now with you. But you can also schedule 3 one-on-one sessions with me, or 2 or 1, whatever you want to do there. So a mixture of these. So the group sessions are like what I'm doing here. So group live sessions, and a lot of course creators will offer them weekly as the course. So the course is 100% live. However, to give you the state of the art and the best practices, I would suggest that you have both recorded elements, video recorded elements, and group live sessions. So a little bit of both. How much of each is totally up to you. It could be primarily video with a couple live sessions that help it out, that are like Q&A, or it can be primarily live sessions and you just refer people to videos now and then. You can decide that, but I do recommend that you have a mixture of both. Cool. All right. Now I'm going to talk about a cool trick. You can do something that I call looks live. It's not really live, but it has the feel of live. People think it feels like live, but it's not really live. You've done it all ahead of time. And so here's some tricks for doing that. You can do what I call an email walkthrough. So you have 20 videos in your course. They're all pre-recorded. They're all in there. They're 15 to 20 minutes each, so they're short. But you don't expect people to just go in there and start poking around. You take them day by day in an email every day to tell them which videos to go look at and what exercises to do. So you're walking them through your pre-recorded course in an email walkthrough daily. Okay, today I want you to watch video 2 and 3 and do exercises over here on this one when you've finished the videos. And then tomorrow we're going to start something else. So like that, every day you walk them through what they should do that day. as you can imagine, you can set that up ahead of time. That's not really live, but it feels live to the people because they're getting a daily, message from you. So it's a really nice trick to do a kind of feels live course. You could do what's called a 3-day sneak peek, or it could be 4-day, 5-day. But what you're doing is you're giving people a peek into your course. You're giving them access to your course, but only for 3 days during these specific 3 days. So this next week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you can access my course. And even though the course is recorded and everything's pre-done, it feels live because it's only available during these specific 3 days. They have to participate during those days. It has a live feel to it. So that's another sort of looks live way to do it. We're doing this now with one of our courses. We're giving a 4-day sneak peek across a few days in early October. What I would say about this, if you like this idea and you want to try it out, I would just say this really only works well if your course is pretty long. If you've only got a 3-hour course, don't do this, because they're going to see the entire course in 3 hours. The whole point of this is that they get a sneak peek over 3 days, but it's not enough time to get the whole course. The whole course would take a week or 2 weeks to really go through. So they're not going to really finish it all. So it encourages people to maybe buy it. So you say, hey, you didn't get enough time to watch it? Sorry, the sneak peek is over, but you can buy the course and get lifetime access. It's only $97 or whatever. Right? So I would only do a sneak peek if your course is long enough that they won't be able to finish it all in the 3 days. Okay. Unlocking pages is another sort of looks live idea where they go into the course portal and then certain pages get unlocked on different days. And it has a feel of live because, they don't know which page will be unlocked during the process. This kind of goes together with the other two. The 3-day sneak peek is sort of each day you unlock a portion of your course, right? And the email walkthrough is sort of an unlocking too. So today we're going to unlock these videos and give you access. Tomorrow you're going to do these other ones. So unlocking pages kind of goes with the other two. And then here's the thing though, you always have to give live support. I mean, even if you want a 100% pre-recorded course and you want it to feel and look live, so you're going to do one of these techniques, you're not off the hook. You still have to give live support because people might have a problem. People might have a technical problem. I can't get into your course portal. What's going on? I want my money back. It's like, no, we had a little whatever problem. You should be able to get in now. Or here, I changed your password. All those things have to be done. And if you don't have somebody to do it for you, you have to do it. So you'll always have live support, okay? Or 24-hour support where you'll get back to people quickly. All right, now the second component of course development is hosting. This is a really important piece that I want to really cover well with you, because this is where a lot of course developers, authors get bogged down. Where do I put my course? Do I have to build a website? Do I use Kajabi? What's the best way to do this? Okay, I'm going to cover this completely. So there's three options. The first option is DIY, do it yourself. And I'm hoping that the gardeners with the machines outside aren't disturbing you too much. Of course, that always happens when you get onto a recorded call, is the noise outside starts happening. It will pass quickly. So do it yourself is the first of the 3 hosting options. What does that mean? It means you're creating your own portal. Now, most people don't really want to do this. It's a lot of work and there's a lot of investment involved. This means you're putting a course portal on your website and you're hosting everything. So there's a server involved, there's IT involved, there's technology involved. You have to choose the course software that you're going to use and you plug it. So let's say that one of the most common is you've got a WordPress website and there's 5 or 6 WordPress plugins that are course delivery plugins. And so you can plug it in and run your own course portal. Well, it's not that simple. You still have to build the course. You still have to have a server. Your website is now 10 times bigger because you've got this big course, plugin in there. You have to build the pages. You have to do the e-commerce that goes with it. People have to buy the course and then get dropped into the portal. There's a lot to it. There are tools, though. You can get plugins for WordPress, for example. But I will tell you this. So I'm going to go through the pros and cons. One of the pros is you have total control. It's your portal. You do whatever you want. There's a long-term cost benefit to this. You have an investment in the beginning, but over years, you actually save money because you're doing it yourself. Now that cost benefit kicks in maybe around year 3, give or take. Sometimes year 2, the end of year 2, beginning of year 3. But over the course of many years, this is the cheaper way to go. When you factor everything in, this is including factoring in the server fees and all of that stuff. And in the end, you'll clear about 70%. So over time, and this is again, this model, the do-it-yourself, has to be calculated out over time, because in the early portion, you're spending way more money. Because you have to hire an IT person, you have to hire the developer, you have to put the stuff in. But over, say, 5 years, it starts to break even. 3 years to 5 years, you're breaking even, and then after that, you're actually saving money. And at the end, over the course of those 5 years, you're going to be clearing about 70% of your course fees, meaning 30% is going to costs, right? The cost of the servers, the cost of running the business, the cost of doing the thing. Okay, so 70% clearing is pretty good, not bad, right? Now, out of that 70%, you have to pay your affiliates and all these other things, but that's still part of the revenue. You're getting 70% revenue from the course sales. And these are ballpark figures, but this is giving you a good, hopefully this is giving you a good ballpark here. The problem, you're going to have technical issues. Your server might go down and like, oh crap, what do? I have to have an IT guy on call to help with this, because people are taking my course and they're starting to call in and say, what's going on? I can't get in. That happens. When you run your own course portal, that happens, okay? Tech support for customer. You got to run tech support. You're going to have to run tech support anyway for your courses, but now you have to have tech support for the tech side of it as well. And you're going to have e-commerce, right? E-commerce, and the e-commerce is more complex than it should be, but it just is. PayPal alone isn't going to do it anymore. People have Venmo, they have credit cards, they have debit cards, they have this, they have that. You want to be able to take as much as you can. And then there's international e-commerce issues. People from another country can't pay using PayPal. What's going on? So e-commerce is a big deal. And then finally, for the do-it-yourself model, you're going to have an initial investment. It is not going to be cheap in the beginning. You have a lot of outpour of early costs, and then you save money over time. So that's the do-it-yourself model. If you're the type of person who wants total control, this might be your choice. Just be aware that you're going to spend a lot of time running your portal and not as much time teaching what you teach, okay? The second option for course hosting is a hosted solution or an e-learning portal. So I've got a bunch of logos over on the left there. You've heard of some of these. Teachable, Kajabi, Udemy, Thinkific. These are all online education course portals where they do the hosting of the tech and you do everything else. You put your course in there, you create the sales page, they've got the e-commerce solution, but you set it all up. They don't help you with anything. I mean, anything. You're lucky to even be able to have a live chat with one of their customer service representatives. But there's some advantages and disadvantages. The advantages, all you have to do is load the course and set up the sales funnel to get people to it. and they handle everything else kind of. You pay monthly over time, so there's no initial upfront setup fee. You just pay monthly fee. Now, of course, over time, that becomes more expensive than hosting it yourself, or the third option I'll be getting into. The monthly fees really add up over a long time. So if you're in this course portal, say Teachable or Kajabi, over more than 3 years, you're probably actually now spending more than you would have. But because it's monthly, it maybe it feels like it's not as much, maybe. You don't have any tech or e-commerce to worry about. They handle all of that. It's a good benefit, very nice benefit. The downside, it's more expensive over time. You're going to earn probably more like 66%, 2/3 of your course income. Remember, in the do-it-yourself, you're earning 70%. This is on average, okay? So now you're earning a little bit less over time because you're paying Kajabi a lot of money. But 66% isn't so bad, really. 66% is 2/3 of the revenue. Over time, if you can earn that, that's great. No, you have no control except for the content, right? So if they don't have a feature that you need, tough for you, because you don't have control over that at all. It's not your portal. If that doesn't concern you, then that's great. You have total control over the content, but not over the portal itself. And then there's lots of added extra costs. They charge you for this, they charge you for that. There's an upsell for, if you have too many customers, they charge you an extra fee. All those kinds of things come into play with the hosted solutions or the e-learning portals. So those are the pros and cons of the second option, which is hosting with an e-learning portal. And the third and final option is a course publisher. I call these professional portals, right? This has some of the elements of do-it-yourself and some of the elements of a portal, an e-learning portal. So you're actually being published by a publisher, which means they're doing a lot of the work for you. So pros and cons, they do everything but the content, usually. Think of it like a book publisher. When you publish a book with a book publisher, all you do is write the book, right? They do the cover, they do the interior, they put it on the bookshelf, they print it, et cetera, right? It's the same idea here. All you do is write the course and create the videos. Of course, it's a little different than writing a book. You actually have to record videos, but that's all you do, right? And then they do the rest. They'll even help with content sometimes. Our course portal, we even give people content advice and feedback, and we'll help divide it up if that's how they want to do it, or we'll give best practices and guidelines back. And a lot of course publishers, there aren't that many course publishers, but a lot of them do that. You get a little more prestige. You're not doing it yourself. You're actually being published by a professional publisher. There's a little more prestige in that. And depending on who the publisher is, the prestige might be high or low. But the fact that you're published by somebody else does have a little prestige to it. You get the benefit of the cross-marketing that they have. So obviously the course publisher has other authors' courses, and they want to cross-market them to each other, just like you want them to, right? They want to sell more of the courses, just like you want them to sell more. So they'll make the courses available in a menu, on a catalog page or whatever, or table of contents page. They'll have all their courses. So you kind of benefit from that a little bit. Now, some publishers do marketing, some don't. And I don't mean cross-marketing. I mean, marketing of the courses. I'll talk about that in a minute. Downsides of publishers: getting a contract with a course publisher. How do you convince a publisher to work with you? Getting that contract is tough sometimes. Your percent of revenue is going to be around 75%. So that's in between the other two, right? One was 66% and the other was what, 80%? So this is right in between the two. So all three of those, in terms of your net revenue, aren't aren't bad if, in the long run. In this case, you get around 75%. So 25% goes to the costs and all that. Not bad. All three of them are reasonable if they earn out. Right? And you have the other downside is you have less control over updating the course. Think about like a book publisher. You can't just call up the publisher and say, I want to change the page 10 of my book. Like tough, it's printed already. You can't just change it. Sorry. Now, if it's an electronic book, an ebook, sometimes, of course, a book publisher will say, okay, we'll allow a certain number of changes, and they can do that. So because courses are online and digital usually, you usually can make changes, but there might be some restrictions. There might be, you can only make so much, you can't change it every day or something like that. You can't do more than 3 changes or whatever, or you have to pay for changes, something like that. So it's not that you won't be able to change and update your course, but you don't have as much control. So those are the pros and cons of all three. Hopefully that was interesting. And I want to talk for a minute about our course portal. It's called Waterside Education. I don't know if you guys know who Waterside Publishing is. It's also Van Buren Publishing. You guys get emails from info@Van Buren Publishing. That's the primary domain. But it's co-run and co-owned with Waterside Productions. That's Bill Gladstone of Waterside Productions. If you don't know who that is, go to waterside.com and check him out. He's one of the top literary agents in the world, and you'll see the kinds of people he represents. He's also got a book publishing division, and he publishes more first-time authors than, he's one of the top 3 agents in the country for first-time authors. So he's not just about the big names. As an agent, he handles the big names. As a publisher, he handles lots of first-time authors. So he's a kind of a big deal, and he's co-owner of our portal, Waterside Education. It's a hybrid publishing model. It is identical to Bill's own publishing model. So his book publishing model is a hybrid book model, and our course publishing model is identical, except that it's for courses, not books. What does that mean? It means your course, our guidelines, and our best practices. So we're going to give you guidelines for how the courses should look and feel, because we have certain standards, but you create it. You follow our guidelines as best you can. You create it. We'll give you those guidelines and best practices. We do all the setup. That means we put your videos up on the course. We put them into pages. We do the navigation. We let people visit them and view them. We do all of it. Everything up and online, we do that. We set up a sales page. We do the e-commerce, and when they purchase the course, we drop them into your course. We then cross-market other courses. We'll cross-market your course to other courses inside the portal for people. You all have either my digital marketing course or Bill's publishing course, or maybe some of you have both. So you can go in there and see, this is how we do the courses. There is a setup fee. That's what makes it a hybrid model. So we have a one-time only setup fee. You never pay monthly. There's no monthly fees. It's a one-time setup fee. That's it. And it covers all of the stuff that we do, including the e-commerce and the sales page and all that stuff. The setup fee, I'm going to talk about the setup fee because I'm going to give you a special deal. If anybody's interested in this, today I'm going to give you $1,000 off the setup fee. The setup fee is normally $2,800. And for the next couple days, it's only $1,800. And I'm going to give you the page where that's on. So you can do a course with us for only $1,800 setup fee. And then the last part, you get 80% of the revenue. So we only take 20%. So you get 80% of all the revenue. So that's equivalent to a do-it-yourself model. And you earn revenue from day one, as soon as the course starts. Marketing of the course, you do all the marketing of the course. The marketing is separate. We have marketing available optionally. You don't have to hire our marketing people. You can, and we make that available at special rates for our course developers, but you don't have to. Maybe you have your own marketing people you want to use. That's fine. Maybe you have a budget you're going to use for publicity or something. That's fine. The marketing is separate, and it's a separate fee, and it's optional. So I wanted to mention that because we're a unique course portal. There aren't very many, course publisher. There aren't very many publishers like us. Most of the course publishers out there, so, I mentioned those 3 ways of doing it, and you working with a publisher was that 3rd way. Well, most of the publishers out there only publish 5 or 6 courses per year. And mostly they're going to publish courses from well-known people. So like a good example of that, most of you have heard of this publisher, is Mindvalley. Mindvalley is a perfect example of a course publisher that will probably only work with big names. That they're not interested if you don't have a big name and 500,000 followers. So that's actually the biggest problem with the publisher model, because publishers just don't want to publish anybody. They only want to publish the big names. We're one of the rare and unique exceptions to that, because we've created our course publishing to model the book publishing hybrid model. And this is because of Bill Gladstone and his book publishing experience. So we're using the book publishing hybrid model to do hybrid course publishing. So that means we work with anybody who can deliver to our guidelines, which is pretty much anybody. If you pay attention to the guidelines, we'll publish your course. We'll do all that work, and it's just one-time setup fee. And our marketing is available if you want it. So you can go to vanburenpublishing.com and look at it. I'm going to stop screen sharing here, and then I'm going to show you the page. So I'm going to, let me see if I can do this real quick. I want to show you the page. Yes, this is working. I'm going to go to Van Buren Publishing and show you where the page is where you can start if you want to. So I'm going to screen share again, a different page. Here it is. Can you see that page? Are you looking at the online courses for life? Yes. Okay, good. So this is the course portal. If you go to vanburenpublishing.com, this is what you see. These are our courses. Okay. You all have access to at least one course in here. I'm pretty sure, or you wouldn't be here today. So, but here in the main menu, under Contact Us, the second option is Become an Author. If you click on that, this is the page where you can sign up to be a publisher, an author with us as a course. And for a certain amount of time, this is only $1,800. I've personally set this to be only 3 payments of $600. So that's 3 months, $600 a month for 3 months, total of $1,800. It's normally $2,800. So this is now set to $1,800 for a few more days. And I just wanted to show you that so that you knew where to go if you decide to do that. And if you have more questions after this, well, I'm going to take some questions now. But if you have more questions, we're actually at an hour. That took longer than I thought. Thank you all for staying with me and being here. I'll take some questions now, and then if you have questions afterward, you can email in to info@vanburenpublishing, and one of us will answer them and work with you. So I didn't cover the marketing part. Yeah, I spent an entire hour. Thanks for bringing that up. I'll tell you what, though. If any of you are here because you own the publishing course and not the marketing course, I will give you the marketing course for free. And that will tell you all about the marketing. I didn't really have to cover it here because most of you already have my entire marketing course. And for those few of you that don't, put your name in. Here's what you can do. Just type your name and email into the chat right now. And our people will look you up in the portal. And if you don't have the marketing course, we'll give it to you. Okay. So all the marketing will be covered there. And of course, I'm going to do a couple more of these workshops on marketing. So keep an eye out for the next couple in the next, they'll probably be a week from now and then 2 weeks from now, something like that. And I'll get more deeply into marketing in those sessions. So that'll be covered. But thanks for reminding me of that. And it's good that I can mention that. Would it make sense to sign up for the publishing if you don't have your course created yet? Yes, and that's a great question. Thanks. That's one of the benefits of our model. It's not, I would not say yes if you're planning on going with Kajabi, for example, one of the course portals, the hosted portals, because you don't want to start paying monthly on Kajabi and just sit there for 6 months not being ready. You're paying 6 months for nothing, right? That happens a lot, actually. With us, however, we'll work with you to get that course developed. We'll give you that guidance and those best practices and those guidelines to get you started. And the fee that you pay with us is one-time fee anyway, so it doesn't go up or down based on how quickly you do it. But we will help guide you through it as well. If you do DIY style, the first of those 3 options, I would consider getting your course mostly done first before you spend all the money to create the DIY infrastructure on your website. Remember, the DIY model requires a little investment. You're building your own portal, and that requires some investment. And I wouldn't start that investment process until your course is pretty close. Okay, so there's 3 separate answers for the 3 types. If you go DIY, wait till your course is mostly developed. If you go with one of the portals like Teachable, wait till it's totally developed, fully developed. Don't pay monthly until you're ready. And if you go with a publisher like us, you can get started anytime. There's no difference. Hopefully that answered that question. Let me look at some of the other questions here. Please send me the marketing course. Yes. Okay, great. Yeah, some of you are putting your emails in for the marketing. Great. I missed some. Well, if I missed any of your questions that you typed in, just unmute and ask them. Here's one. Are there any limits to size or length of the courses you publish for the fee, our model? Well, yes and no. I mean, technically no, but yes, in terms of best practices, we don't want you to publish a course that's more than 20 hours, not because we have some reason to limit you, but because people don't like that. We want you to do a course that's popular, and people don't want courses that are more than 20 hours long. If you have a course that's more than 20 hours, we're going to try to work with you to break it up into 2 courses. There are exceptions. I mean, it's not an absolute rule. If there's a reason why your course needs to be for 30 hours or 40 hours, and it's a reasonable thing, sure. We're not going to go against what's right for your content, but we are going to try to work with you, right? So the answer is yes and no. Ultimately, no, there's no limit, but we try to make the courses adhere to some guidelines. Okay, digital marketing. Does the fee cover only one course or multiple courses? Another great question. We'll give you a discount on the second course. If you do a second course with us, we'll give you a discount on the fee, so it won't be the same fee. But the setup fee does cover the setup. So it is meant to just cover the cost of all the stuff we have to do to get the course up there and build a sales page and all that stuff. But for a second time course creator, we'll give you a break on the fee. Right now, you already get a break on the first fee if you take advantage of that page deal on that page. Turn your book or script into a course is one of your books. Can you take it over since you already are the publisher? Turn your book or script into a course is one of your books. I think you're thinking of Chris Kyle. Can you take it over since you are already the publisher? Yeah, I think you've got the wrong Chris. You're thinking of Chris Kyle. He wrote that book. We're friends. Chris, I recommend Chris's course on building a course. He's got a great course building course. And I recommend it if you want to go through that. Pretty sure. Okay. Where can we find the guidelines and best practices for the Waterside portal? We give that to you when you sign up. So that's not something we just make available. When you become one of our course authors, we'll give you guidelines and best practices, and we'll even meet with you several times to go over it. We encourage you even to do a test video and send it to us so that we can look at it and give you some thoughts and guidelines on how it's looking and how it's going. So we get very involved with guiding. Okay? It's ultimately you that creates the content, but we definitely guide you along the way and fill in some best practices for you. And then once the course content is developed, which is again videos, audios, and text, and then whatever live pieces you want to include, we then put that all up. We do all that. You don't have to even be involved. You do get involved to approve it. So we put it all up and then we show it to you, and then you say, oh, you got to change this or change that, and then we're done, right? So you get an approval process. Okay, next question. Let's see. There's a bunch here. How do you do the marketing for the course? I set these up in Samcart. Yeah. So I didn't mention this, but you mentioned there are shopping carts out there, like Big Commerce and Thrive Cart, and all these super well-known and well-established shopping carts. And some people use them to host their course. It's the same idea as going with a course hosting portal, like Teachable or Kajabi. The difference is Teachable and Kajabi are made specifically for courses, whereas shopping carts are really made for shopping items, for, oftentimes physical products. Some shopping carts, not all, but some shopping carts don't even handle digital products. They only handle physical products. So you have to ship something, right? So if you want to go with a shopping cart like Thrive Cart, just make sure that they allow you to deliver digital products, because that's your course. Your course is a digital product. But I don't recommend shopping carts. I recommend, if you're going to go with a portal approach, that second of the three approaches, go with a Kajabi or a Teachable or one of those that specializes. And you can Google top 10 e-learning, use the term e-learning, top 10 e-learning portals, and you'll get pros and cons and contrasts of 10 different e-learning portals. Kajabi will be one of them, Teachable will be one of them, and then there'll be 8 others, right? Depending on who you're, the Google article you're reading. And you can just look and decide and see what they cost and all that kind of stuff. But to answer the rest of your question, Jeannie Graham, how do you do the marketing? Good question. As I mentioned, for our course portal, the marketing is separate. You can hire us to do marketing, and we will evaluate it. Our marketing team will evaluate it separately. Is this a course we can be successful with, and blah, blah, blah. And most of our marketing is direct marketing, which means it's email based. We do other marketing. We can do Facebook ads and influencer marketing, which is social media marketing. But our primary marketing type is email marketing, which is direct online marketing. We have our own email lists. And so we start with our own email lists. And then we also go out to other partners to get them to email to their email lists. And then we do these exchanges with them, which is called a JV, or joint venture. It's a specific type of marketing exchange, primarily in the body, mind, spirit, or personal professional development field. Other fields do it too, but not as much as personal development. Personal development, we do this JV style exchange marketing very commonly. Maybe most of you have even heard of it and know about it. But we do a lot of JV marketing in our marketing. We have a lot of partners we go out to, and then we have a pretty big mailing list. So we can JV exchange with big partners that also have big mailing lists, because the whole point of the JV is you match each other. So, well, we have 200,000 in our mailing list. We want to partner with another partner that has 200,000. Well, that's a pretty big mailing list. So we try to get those partners in. So that's not part of our marketing. That's the lion's share of the marketing we do is JV email marketing. And then sometimes we'll add an influencer campaign, which is an online social media publicity campaign. And just to make a distinction real quick, in social media, there's sort of two sides to social media. There's your own social media content. So you have a page in Facebook and you post to your page, or Instagram or TikTok. That's your social media content. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the other side, which is other people's social media content, and you want them to promote your course to their audience. That's the social media marketing that we do. We call it influencer marketing. So we're going out to the influencers online to get them to do something with us. And so that's an influencer marketing campaign. So those are the two primary things we do in marketing: JV email marketing and influencer online marketing. And how much of each is totally customized to you. It isn't the same for everybody. It really depends on a lot of factors. So as I mentioned earlier, we don't do cookie cutter marketing. And this is an example. There's no absolute combination that we use for everybody. It's different for everybody. And it's based on, your budget, your existing marketing, how well known you are, how many products you have. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into our recommendation on how much of each thing to do, right? And then there might be one or two things that we recommend doing that we don't do. And we would recommend some people that you could go to get them done. So for example, for book marketing, we sometimes, not always, but occasionally when it seems to be the right fit for the right author, we will sometimes recommend doing Amazon advertising. You can pay Amazon to put your book in different spots to get more exposure on Amazon.com. And in some cases, that's useful. Well, we don't do Amazon advertising, so we would recommend somebody else that we work with. You can use that person or not. You can use your own person, doesn't matter, but we'll give you the recommendation if that's a high priority item for you. And that was just one example, but that's there's a lot of marketing, right? And we only do certain types ourselves. Okay, that's the long answer. Sorry about that. What is the deadline for your special offer? I'm going to keep it open until, what is today? Tuesday. Until the end of Friday. Or how about Saturday? I can leave it until Saturday. So by the end of the day, Saturday, Pacific time, it'll go back up to the 2,800. And remember, it's a 3-pay option, so you're only going to pay the first payment. If you decide to change your mind, we'll refund the payment. I mean, you don't have, if you just want to lock in the good price, you're sort of at no risk. I mean, if you say, hey, look, I've decided I'm not going to do it, we'll give you your first 300 or 600 back, and hopefully you'll come back later. It's not a big deal. So, give it some thought if you're ready to do that. How much do the marketing people charge? I've got a long history of PR, but not so much with online promo. Well, again, the charges are custom. How much of each piece of type of marketing you do affects the price, but I can give you some ballparks. We do tend to try to categorize marketing campaigns as small, medium, or large, just to keep it simple. And that's the scope, right? That's the scope of the campaign. And I would bet that most of you are going to be either small or medium. Very few people do large. And I wouldn't even recommend that you do large unless you're already a big name, right? The large campaigns are for big name authors. So you're going to do small or medium. And small is anywhere from $1,000 a month to $3,000 a month, let's say. That's just a general ballpark. Medium is going to be around $3,000 to $5,000 a month. And this is for usually about 3 months minimum. And then you can keep it going if you want to. But I just wanted to, I'm not here to pitch the marketing side. I might give you more information in the other sessions I do that are going to be more about marketing. But for now, I just wanted to give you a ballpark on the kinds of general costs that there would be for a small and a medium campaign. if you do it right. And you don't have to work with us if you're published with us as an author, course author. You don't have to do marketing with us, but you can. It's available. Turn your book or script into a film is your book. My mistake is. Oh, yeah, Chris. Yeah, that's a follow up to the Chris Kyle one. Yes, Chris Kyle uses Kajabi. Will you be partnering? I have no problem with Kajabi. The only criticism I have of Kajabi is that it gets to be very expensive. It's kind of like MailChimp for email. It's real attractive and cheap in the beginning. And then the more people you get in your course, the higher it gets and goes up and up and up. And eventually you're paying a lot every month to keep that course there. And if your course has seasons where it's peaks and then goes down and then up and then down, which is typical, you're going to be paying the same amount your downtime as you do in your uptime. So my biggest criticism of Kajabi and other systems like Kajabi is that over time you pay a lot more money. In the short term, it's great. In the long term, it's more expensive. But that's the only problem I have. As far as technologically, I have no problem with Kajabi. And I know that that's why Chris Kyle recommends it. Okay, let's see. Any other questions? Feel free to just raise your hand or speak out if I missed your question. You can unmute yourself, I believe. If not, you can find the raise your hand button and I'll unmute you if you
What
can.
do you think of coaching, Jeannie?
What?
Say it again, Paige. Say your question again.
What do you think of coaching, Jeannie?
What do I think of Coaching Genie?
Yeah, have you heard of that platform?
I've heard of it. I'm not directly familiar with it. I've heard the name. My understanding is it's a coaching platform for coaches, not so much for courses, but maybe it is. Maybe it does handle courses. I don't know enough about it to be able to really comment, other than that it appears to be a hosted portal like the other ones. Similar idea. You pay monthly and you get their services.
Mm-hmm.
I could do a deeper dive into it later for one of the other sessions. Any other people? Just unmute and speak up. Mm-hmm.
Is it possible to send your own customers or contacts to the site of the course on your platform?
You mean the author's own or our own?
I mean, if I have a course on your platform, can I send my contacts to sign up directly?
100%. Absolutely. And I should have mentioned in what most publishers do, so that those three options, right? The publisher option, that is that third option. Most publishers, if you even can get a publisher deal, you don't get the names and addresses of the people who buy your course. The publisher owns those. Sort of like Amazon doesn't give you the names and emails of people who buy your book. You don't get to know. Whereas our portal, we give them to you. Those are your people. And so you can invite them, and we encourage you, actually, we want you to invite them to your Facebook page or your weekly sessions or whatever live components you're going to do. We want you to have those names and emails so that you can deliver those components. So you absolutely, you can put people in. You can give it away for free. There's no, we can set up a free page for you. That's actually part of the setup fee, is that you get a page where you can send people to sign up for free. Some people will give their course away for free to end users. Other people use that page just to give it to colleagues, partners. But it's useful, at least for that. So
it's possible to connect all this with my own website.
Oh yeah, 100%. You just link over to your page. You'll have a dedicated page, and you just link over to that. It's kind of similar to being on Kajabi. You have your own course page on Kajabi, and you send people over to Kajabi to purchase and to look at the sales page and then purchase from that sales page.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Feel free to unmute. There might have been one or two that I missed here. All right, and thank you for, again, one final reminder. If you don't have the digital marketing course, and you have the other course in our portal and you want it, I'll give it to you for free. Just type your name and email in, and we'll make sure you get that. So you can see how I did that. Digital marketing course is mostly me, and you can see how I did it. I like to tell people that I didn't use any fancy equipment. You can kind of tell, although it is stand and deliver. It's not like this. It's not a Zoom recording. I stand up. I'm being recorded by my phone, 100% done on a phone, and I deliver. And some of the audio is great. Most of it's great, but a couple of the videos, the audio didn't pan out. So I learned a lot doing it. And it is totally okay to do it that way. You'll also see that we put in some text over some of the videos to emphasize certain points. That's an extra added feature. So check it out, and I'll give it to the people who don't already have it. Any final questions? And then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, Chris?
Yes.
Awesome overview. Thank you very much. Could you speak a little bit about the flow of revenue, our 80%? How does that come to us? How frequently?
Yeah, sure. It comes whenever there's revenue. Although we pay right now, we pay quarterly. In other words, we do quarterly reports, and then we pay out if there's revenue to pay out quarterly. So if you have a promotion that you do for your course, for example, and you have whatever, 50 people take your course, and it's $100 course, you get $80, so 80% times those 50 people as the payout. Now there is a net, because there are e-commerce fees that get deducted from that, like 2 or 3%. It depends on the e-commerce. PayPal takes a little bit of, if it's through PayPal, and the different e-commerce things take different amounts depending on what it is. So that does also get deducted, but everybody deducts that. But then you get 80%, and it's paid out quarterly. Kind of similar to, Bill Gladstone and his publishing company. They pay out royalties, basically book royalties. You could sort of call this course royalties, but it's really your course. You have, by the way, unlike a book publisher, we give you full. We don't take any rights in our contract. We don't actually get any rights to the course other than that you give us the right to publish it. But you have full rights to publish it elsewhere if you want to. Whereas with a book publisher, you're usually giving exclusive rights to the publisher. You can't just turn around and give the book to somebody else, another publisher. That's not true with us in the course portal. If you want to publish it somewhere else, you can. There may not be a lot of reason to, but you could. So hopefully that answered your question and a couple more. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. We went a little long, but it was some great questions in there. So I really appreciate you being here. Keep an eye out for my announcement of the next one, which will be more about marketing. And if you have any questions about the course portal, our course portal, and are thinking about making that happen, feel free to email us. And you can reply to those emails, info@vanburenpublishing.com, and we'll be able to reply back to you. So thank you so much. Until next time, take care.